to teach them, train them how to find that level so that they can start working on their stress response. Their adrenal adaptogenic supplements can actually be absorbed and help them restore. But it's a super also free tool that we can use now in our COVID times, guys.
And I love that. I think, we know like it's treating the whole person and looking at the totality of everything. And I think if we're not addressing the physical changes that stress has on our body, we're missing a huge piece of it. I know I was missing it in myself. Sure, the melatonin was helping to knock me out in times of high stress, but I wasn't really shifting my physiology. Therefore, my body weight was not going to shift the way I felt during the day because my hormones were still in fight or flight. There was still the saber-toothed tiger there when I was sleeping, which is why I try and drive this point home. And now I don't sugarcoat it as a clinician. I'm like, if you really want to heal yourself, take it from someone who's been there and actually suffered the consequences of letting their body burn out.
Yeah, I want to slip into this. I don't want to make this about COVID or whatever, but I kind of want to just touch lightly upon it that I had a client who yesterday, literally up to the last week and a half was like, oh, I'm under the weather. And kind of that just kind of like not feeling the greatest, almost like feeling like she was waiting to get sick or something. And literally came in on one of my virtual classes yesterday working out and wrote me and was like, yeah, it turns out I wasn't under the weather. I did your class and I was actually feeling amazing. And now I'm back to myself. So again, that fascial work, I mean, again, we haven't really talked about this, but our method of moving is again, honoring all that fascia and realigning and whatever. And so after that workout, she was like, oh, I wasn't actually. So also it's an empowering thing when we're hearing all these messages and like, oh my God, everyone, immune system and vitamin C and this and that and da, da, da. And you're just like, hold on, like, actually, are you sick? Like, can we just like do some physical stuff instead of first, like, yes, take the supplements and do all the stuff. And then actually you should talk more about this, but one of my patients messaged me. She's like, I'm having like much looser stool than usual. It's been about the past week. I'm like, are you taking vitamin C? You decided to take a lot. She's like, oh my God, yeah. How'd you know? I'm like, yeah.
Bowel tolerance.
She's like, oh yeah, like how did you even know? I'm like, yeah, I think that's important that you and I can talk about this, about the gut, is just like there's a lot of immune supplementation happening.
Yeah.
And go to Dr. Michelle, go to Poppy, come here, whatever, get the advice of what's right for you, because taking the blanket therapeutic dosing yourself of the immune supplements may not be the greatest.
No. And to your point about even thinking like you're feeling unwell and it's not necessarily that you have something. I notice that all the time because my neck will get so stiff and so my lymphatic system will get congested and therefore I can't fully heal from something. And the flow, even just putting the tennis ball on my neck, it's like you feel things moving and I'm like, oh, cool. Okay.
Yeah, that's really cool. I don't know. Do you talk about much nose breathing and mouth breathing in your clinic at all?
No, tell us. Teach us.
So there's actually all this science that
yes, I know what you're gonna say. Yeah, but
yeah, that like our jaws have not formed the way that they once did because we used to eat whole foods, like actual whole foods from their actual whole state. Like there was no flours, there was no refined stuff. So we had a lot more chewing happening, which would actually help children develop their lower jaws. And there's so much like teeth issues now with kids because the jaw is not forming properly. And when the jaw is not forming properly, you'll see kids, they'll start mouth breathing. They just kind of like start hanging their mouth open and more teeth problems, more jaw problems. And that can contribute to airway problems. So not only when we're breathing and sleeping and stuff like that, but that whole alignment of the jaw, the sinus bones, like people forget that these are all tiny little bones and then the fascia is encasing them and there's muscles all around here, and how everything is, like actually your airway and your esophagus, like those need to have enough space. Our jaws are meant to be closed, not tightly clenched, but closed, and we're meant to be able to breathe through our nose. But because a lot of us have adopted mouth breathing, so if you think of, if you want to know this for your child, particularly when they're eating, notice if they're the smackers, or if they can actually, like, you know, you're like, close your mouth while you're eating or whatever, that kind of thing. Sometimes they can't because they're trying to breathe, right? And they're breathing through their mouth. And then it's a catch-22, because once they become snotty and congested and they're trying to breathe through their nose, but they can't, so they are opening their mouth more, and vice versa. So there are actually ways where you're training even us adults to breathe through our nose, shut our mouths. You want to be at least 8 hours a day with your mouth shut, so that you're encouraging nasal breathing, and then your nasal breathing is actually getting better and better. Forget why I brought that up. What were you?
No, I'm actually obsessed with what you're saying. You know, I tape my mouth when I sleep at night, right? Yeah.
I didn't know that. But
okay.
But you're like, well, I said that because you brought up the draining of the neck, but to your, you know, if you're hyperextended and then your jaw can't close properly or whatever, I have, sometimes I can hear my own heartbeat, and I'm sure some people on the call can hear that. And when I close my jaw, it stops. So it's another thing of like just those kind of like ringing in the ear, where your ear tubes are, like all that fascia is connected in there. So one pull of something, like picture a spider web. If you pinch a spider web at one end, the whole shape of the web changes.
Mm-hmm.
So,
no, I love that you bring this up, because I think this is a really important topic in terms of like chewing and jaw position. I see there's a question, and we will get to that in a minute, Erin, because it's a really good one. But I am obsessed with this concept because I got the idea to mouth tape from Mike Mutzel, taping his daughter's mouth. And I thought this, oh my gosh, this sounds like a radical idea. And I do think you should get support during this process. I don't think people should just start taking this up. But I got tape, and I was like, 'cause my daughter, with her history of mono, had developed into a mouth breather, and maybe more from adenoid swelling. But I was really worried she wasn't getting deep restorative sleep at night. So I was like, I'm going to bring the tape home. It's going to be for her, but I'm going to get her comfortable. So I'm going to tape my mouth first so she can see it's not scary. Again, revolutionized my sleep because I'm a mouth breather and didn't really realize it. And it was all of these little biofeedback tools that I implemented that shifted my body from a fight or flight into a parasympathetic mode that radically changed how I was feeling. Again, these are things that can be so helpful. And I really find the data and the information around jaw position quite fascinating, actually, because it's your jam. Yeah. So to that point, Erin has written a question about fascial release for jaw clenching, because that's a big problem during this stressful time, and I couldn't agree more. Is there some techniques that you can show us that can help us?
Yeah, let's go over that. I just want to, one more thing is that, you know, talking about stress and these stressful times, if we think of, you know, someone being like that, running from a tiger analogy that we all medical people overuse way too much. But if you're running, you're going to start opening your mouth and panting sends your physiology into a state. So if everyone in the call right now are just your body will start secreting things that are needed for fight or flight, like actually
pumping blood away from digestion into the muscles so you can escape the saber-toothed tiger.
Never heard that one before.
Never. Brand new. You're welcome.
Those things, like, you know, even in this time as we're at home, even just remembering to start nasal breathing, because it will naturally, you know, help the body drop into a parasympathetic state, whatever. So even if we're sitting down, to your point, maybe mouth taping, if you're not sure, you know, and start practicing mouth taping while you're awake, and then maybe you and your spouse will get along and whatever.
Whenever I put it on right before bed, Keith's like, oh yeah, you're done? Were you done talking?
I know. I did it for about a month, and
maybe you will get along better during the day if everyone mouth tapes.
While you're quarantined.
We have found the solution.
Robin Burzin posted something the other day, and I have to share it with everyone on the call because Brad and I have been using it. It's so funny. She wrote, like, while everyone's home, to save your marriage, make sure, like, pretend you have a coworker and blame everything on Cheryl. Like, Cheryl left the dirty glass there. Like, you know, Cheryl didn't do the dishes. And we've been using it. And
I thought that was hilarious. I saw that one. Really good.
Loved it. I did just tell my husband he needed to start mouth taping. Is that, yeah.
I hope that was received well.
So let's get into some release, guys.
Yeah.
Okay, so I wore this shirt on purpose so that we could have collarbone awareness. So let's just talk about the jaw for a second. So when we have a muscle that, so we're going to kind of start from the bottom up. There's a muscle that kind of attaches into this fascia right here, and it comes into the jaw right here. Okay. Now, again, if we're talking mouth breathing and it's on both sides and that's tight, that's going to go like that. Right. So we want to work on that one first. Yeah. Get me in the horse position. Okay. So you're going to basically find where these two notches are, where your collarbones end. And you're going to take 3 fingers just underneath the collarbone and just a little bit over. So the little notches here. I wish we could see everyone, hey? If they're doing it. Anyways, everyone do it along. So, and put in the chat if you have questions. You're going to just see how little that amount of grab is. Yeah. So how you know you're doing the same side is you want to make sure your jaw is parallel with the collarbone. So that's how you know you're doing the right side. If your jaw is going this way and it's not in line, you're doing the wrong side. So you always want to make sure the jawbone and the collarbone are parallel with each other. So parallel lines. Then we're getting off of the collarbone about, I don't know, what's that? An inch, not even. And you should feel already, I feel like some just muscle pop up under my finger. Now what you're going to do, you're going to take this jawbone and you're going to, with the fingers kind of pulling down, you're going to let your jaw, you're leaning back your head so that your jaw and your collarbone are pulling away from each other and coming back. So again, just falling off the collarbone into that spot, making sure they're parallel, and then leaning your head back, keeping the pressure on those fingers, almost like you're dragging your fingers to smear lipstick on a mirror. That's kind of what the vibe you want to get, and come back. I can't get feedback. Like, do you feel it?
Mm-hmm.
So let me see yours actually, Michelle, because I can fix it. Take your right hand off. Turn your head more, like when you turn your head. Yeah. And then put it on a little closer this way and a little lower. And do 3.
Even lower?
There. And now like.
Oh, yes.
And then you're going to.
I like that.
Like you're pulling away. It's like they're going in 2. It's like the bottom fingers and the jaw are going away from each other.
Oh, I like that one.
Yeah. So see how it's really subtle. Like I had to correct how you were doing. So
yes.
The thing you don't want to do, see how you're going from here. Like you're going from, I mean, you're looking at me, but I'm just like, guys, if you're watching, is that you really want to make sure you've turned, they're parallel, and your head is still. Now you're going to picture the fingers going through lipstick smearing on a mirror, and that's when you're going to pull your head away, and you're going to keep your head rotated like that. Keep your head turned, and then just keep that pressure on the fingers. Now, if you want to go a little bit more, you can lean toward the fingers and then pull away. And one of the things I'm super adamant about when I'm treating people, as you know, because you've been treated by me, or if I'm like how I'm talking, how I was just able to correct you virtually, you guys, that's how we do virtual visits, because at first you were like, oh yeah, whatever. And I'm like, no,
right.
This a little like that, right? Like you're still getting that feedback.
Yeah, that's amazing. On
the other side, same thing, jawbone and collarbone in line, drop under the collarbone till you're in a little piece of like, you should feel kind of something. And then again, leaning away, and you might feel it a little bit different. Like on this side, I need to go a little closer to the middle, and I'm actually feeling it kind of up by my ear, like more, like
yeah, that's how I feel that too.
And that's our ear sides. There you go.
We both had ear deafness problems. That's another thing that connects us.
There you go. So, okay, wait. So, I hope you can't see us. No, we can't see you. Great feeling. I feel it. It pulls right in the TMJ. Yeah. So Erin, it's going to pull on everybody in different areas. So again, that muscle is going like this. And so I'm going to say muscles, but you guys know I work on fascia. So fascia is a continuous sheath. It never really ends. So even though the muscle kind of ends there, on someone, a fascial pull might be happening toward the ear, toward the TMJ, which she's referencing is the temporomandibular joint, which is the actual true jaw joint. Or it can be in the ears. Like I always recommend this one if someone's had earaches, ear infections, for their kids, even to do it on their kids because it's super easy. Just always remember that if you're on the wrong side, you're not going to feel anything.
Right.
You've got to be parallel, and it's like the jaws of life pulling it away. So then the other thing, so then we'll move up. So the next area that we can do, so do you shift anything depending on where you feel it? Yeah, for sure. So good question. Sorry. Yeah, let me get into that. So I started, I'm going to kind of do this so you can see my collarbone. I kind of started like here, but if you're moving you can do a couple passes anywhere within that area. So wherever you're feeling a bit more tender, a bit more tense, you can move kind of out until just like a stretch, you're like, okay, I'm kind of done doing that. Now, when you go on the more outer parts, you're gonna, I'm just trying to show this. So if this is the center, you kind of want to go to the middle of the collarbone now, but kind of towards the edge. So if you go like this, I'm going to use this hand. If you go like this, you'll kind of feel like a divot, like kind of a end of a muscle. You're going to pull down now and you're going to go away from it this way. So I'm square on and it's just ear to shoulder on the opposite side. And you're just going to you can move your fingers. Yeah, right? Like you move your fingers around. And you guys, remember, this is the upper rib cage. So we're talking about breath. We're talking about survival mode. Survival mode breathing happens all up here. So you guys probably wanted me to go, oh, do this to your jaws. Because if our breath is all tight up here and that's pulling that fascia down on the jaw, like cool, but you're not actually going to get it. So that's why we're going a little bit wider and we're going to this side. And you move always around in a toony, I started you in the middle, but anywhere in that toony sized spot is where you're going to go. And then we can do the other side.
Oh, my ear's doing something interesting.
Right? Ears, jaws. This also helps with digestion, which you guys won't really put together because we don't even realize that technically, how much we need to chew our food, which you've heard the message a million times, 20 to 40 chews, depending on what you're chewing. We actually, a lot of us probably skip a lot of the chewing because of the tightness and the malalignment without even realizing it. Do you shift anything depending? Oh, we said that. Okay, close.
Am I pushing too hard, she wrote? When I do this one, I feel tingle at the top of my ear.
Do you shift anything depending on one side and other side you feel closer to the chin? So if you're feeling the chin, maybe you're too close to the middle. So just make sure you're a little bit off. And it should be soft where you're feeling. Like I'm not on the collarbone, I'm not on the bone part, and I'm not inside the collarbone. I'm definitely off in here. There's a lot of nerves that run in here. I answered that. Okay, cool. Okay, so we've got jaws of life. Is that you?
Yeah, sorry.
Side. Got. Now we're gonna take our hands like this. So it's like you're gonna smush someone's face and be like, you're so cute. That's how you're gonna take your hand. And then you're gonna take your thumbs and slide them behind your ears. So when you get there are your thumbs will make it right into two little divots. Okay, so you're in those little divots, and that's really, then you're gonna place the rest of the fingers on the skull so that they're not, because this will be too hard for too long. And now I'm gonna kind of let my head relax into my thumbs, and I'm just gonna let my head tilt from side to side with the pressure of my thumbs. So for you guys, now again, this is a little bit hard to show, but so you're in the divot to start. I'm gonna show like this. So you're gonna go in the divot to start, and then you kind of move back, like, oh
yeah,
like a little higher and a little further back. And then you're gonna do that guy. So you went from the divot, now you're gonna go a little further back and a little higher, but it's not that much. And this time you're gonna kind of go side to side or up or down or chin side to side like this. So you're moving in any way. You can even do circles if you want. Around. So I want to show you guys. Oh my God, do you love whiteboards?
Do I like them? Yeah, they're good.
Whiteboard moment, right? So where you're working, you want to picture it like this is where your thumb is. That was the original spot. Oh, can you see this? This was the original spot. And then we're kind of moving in like a what's that called? A pie chart. Almost like you're moving, like you start with the thumb in the divot, and then you're gonna move your thumb up, like maybe an inch from the divot, and then going all along that, almost like an eye kind of, but you're only working at the top, only at those spokes. So I hope that helps for you guys. So we did the upper neck, and then we can get into, I'm gonna give you guys all the best stuff. Okay, so from here, you're gonna go along your chin, like, so if the angle of the bone is here, you're gonna come onto the face, and you're just doing little tiny back and forth. Michelle, lower, like closer to the bone for you. Yeah. And yeah, right there. Do you feel that?
Mm-hmm.
By the edge of the jaw. And you're just going, it's like you're going like that. Yeah. And all across, like really the angle of the jaw. Like, and you can get pretty like aggressive in there.
Oh, I like that. Whoa.
Yeah. So right by the angle. So we started sort of like, you're not on the chin, but you're just kind of, you start not on the chin, but just off. And then like that, all the way across like that. Okay, then we get to this part. On this part, you're gonna tilt forward so that you see them like puffing, like this is so cute.
I love you.
By the way, you guys, make sure to tag photos. Just let me just get my double chins on. So you're going to look, see how I pushed my cheeks up like this, but my fingers are still down here. So don't let your fingers up. Whoops. You're going from the jaw, and then you're like piling up skin, but my fingers are still by the bottom.
Do I have it?
Let me see you from the side. A little lower, even lower. Yeah, even a little lower, even a little bit lower.
This is?
Yeah, there you go. Okay, now push with those 3 fingers, and then you're gonna go.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. And then open. So you might even notice, like even when I do that one on mine, my bad TMJ is like, so depending on where everyone's at for that kind of release, you just want to, pay attention. You don't want to go to pain. So if you need to back off a little. The other thing, we're not using any emollient. I prefer without emollient. Like moisturize your face and put on maybe like some face oil or something, but don't slab on like some kind of massage oil or something. You don't want to be super slippery. You want to have some tension. That's a lot of that, like, gua sha face stuff. They're like, put on tons of oil and then blah, 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 right? But like the slip, you lose the fascia. You're really more on the skin with the slip. So you're really, digging in. And again, I feel like
a different person already.
Right?
Well, that's a big one.
Guys, we're doing a group treatment. I'm not even touching you, but you're getting that release, right? Which is, this is really important that we do this. So from here, you're going to take your fingers behind the angle of the jaw. So where the jaw actually ends and starts to go up, you're in that part where it goes up. There's a certain amount of discomfort. Oh, yes. Yes, there is a certain amount of discomfort. And if you do it more, does it subside? Yeah. So, I mean, some discomfort, like the way, if you were to like massage your traps and you're like, oh, that's tight. And it feels like, ewy, like if I'm at the top of my traps, like that just feels ick, right? Like it's that kind of thing you should feel. But if you're pushing super hard and it feels like nervy or it's going anywhere else, then you definitely want to like put lighter pressure, or like, you know, maybe focus on all these and let that release and then move on to the jaw. But again, so for me, you want to push that angle of the jaw forward. So the fingers are back. And as you open, and I'm not even going to open that much for me, at the end. So you're not trying to do some massive opening. Little. And then you can move your fingers around at the angle of the jaw just a few times just to get in there. And you'll notice in there, it can be sensitive. Like you don't want to overdo that one. You want to stay like, you know, 3 or 4 passes and that's it. Get in, get out. Okay. Because it can be super sensitive.
Wow.
Right.
Okay, I feel like, okay, what Erin says, TMJ feels like bone on bone with that open mouth one.
Open mouth one being this one?
I think that one, yeah. I feel like that's when it came in. Yes.
Like bone on bone, like a click? Is that what you mean? Okay, so this would be a situation where, you know, I would tell you to get your TMJ looked at because I can't like say exactly what's going on or whatever. Like this is something where I would, you know, be like, look at the root cause of why yours is clicking. So you don't want to create a click. So the thing that I would maybe say for you is just do the cheek puff and turn it more into like an up and down release and then go much smaller. So like minis until you kind of work that out. Because the joint can be pulling on so many different ways, but you know, always take it back from what we've done if there's anything like, because you don't, that's the other thing I see people doing wrong. Like I see, what's it called? You know, influencers or whatever, like, oh my God, self-home grinding release. And I'm like, ugh. Like, so they're saying a lot of that, like, you know, and like you never want to push to the point of the joint going pop, click, like, because we're actually trying to teach it to, like, we're trying to unlock the tight areas, but we also, the areas that are locked long and tight, we also want to teach them how to come back together again. So we always think of a tight muscle only being a knot, like really, really tight, but we also forget that if we're stressed and this shoulder's tight and like, this is a really bad example, but like this is tight and this is long, over time, this muscle has gone stretch, like picture a pair of nylons, like it's just stretching and stretching and stretching, but it's kind of stuck there. So this guy actually also needs to like relearn how to be in a neutral position. So something else to consider, because everyone always is like, I'm so tight, or my muscles are tight. Well, they're also locked long as well. Can you show us how to release the fascia around the back and upper back, shoulders, and tops of traps? How much time does everybody have?
I feel like you're adding such value. Like I'm really appreciative of your time.
Yeah, okay, so backside of the neck, upper back, shoulders, and tops of traps. Okay. Trying to think of the best, like the top 3 nuggets to give you.
What if people had tennis balls at home? Is there a way we can use that, or do you not recommend that? Because I'm not doing that.
Do people have rollers at home?
I have a roller. Do people have foam rollers? Oh, wow. Wow. Wow.
Okay.
What?
I'm going to give a couple ideas.
Okay.
So when it comes to upper back, shoulder, and traps, okay. So I want you guys to picture the rib cage, okay? So like everyone has that visual of how the rib cage is. So when we become, let's picture the top of the rib cage almost tipped this way because everything's so tight and the bottom is fanned open. Let's kind of think of it like that. So where I actually like to start, so your question was upper neck to kind of mid back. So we're talking like until bra strap and maybe the skull stuff that I already gave you guys with the thumb divot. So that's upper neck. Now, some of the easy ways, and this is going to help with digestion too. So guys, I'm just going to get off in here. take your fingers where your ribs, so where the bottoms of your ribs are here, you're gonna, whoops, I'm gonna fall on my chair. You're gonna dig those fingers in and up. So I'm going like this. I'm going in and up. Do not contract your abs. Keep them super relaxed. Keep your body very like folded forward so that your fingers can get in under the rib cage. And then I want you guys to take a deep breath. So actually, sorry, take your fingers out. Everybody take your fingers out. I just want you to take inventory, like just kind of like move around, see how your neck is feeling, see how your upper back is feeling. Okay, everyone's got their little inventory. Now you're gonna take those fingers and you're gonna let the front of your body kind of collapse a little bit. Now I want you to take a super deep inhale and then breathe out and collapse further over your fingers like you're hunching into your fingers almost. And again, breathe in. Breathe out, hunch into your fingers. One more time. And now relax there. So you can take that out when you're ready. Now, what that does is that releases the fascia around the diaphragm, which sits underneath the rib cage. So as I talked about, the top of the rib cage is going like this, bottom of the rib cage, it's like a huge, you know those kids parachute game where they all pull a corner and they all are like running like this and pulling it, and it just gets so taut and so stuck. So one of the, like by doing that, we're just kind of, the diaphragm should sit like a tent, like it should be flexible, that it can go up and down. But sometimes when it's pulled so tight and taut like that, it's just, we can't take a deep breath. We actually anatomically cannot take a deep breath because that is, you know, stuck tight like a parachute. So that's the first thing. Any upper back, upper neck situations, just get in there first before we even do anything else. Number two, I'm just gonna, a PVC pipe. So get on a roller or a cushion. So what you can do, if you have a foam roller, you want to make sure you have the long ones for this, or you're going to use a cushion. And the cushion you would fold up. I'm in my studio. I'm like looking for a cushion. I don't have a cushion, but you're going to roll it up so it's, you know, that it would support your head up until your bra strap, kind of a thing. A foam roller, you want the whole thing, because if you have a short foam roller and the end is hard, that hard end is going to be too aggressive for you. So you would put that to support the head and bra strap. So it would look like from here to here. And then you're going to move. So you're going to open your arms and then close them, then bring them up to 90 and open them, and then bring them up a little higher and open them. Then you're gonna go into snow angeling. So snow angeling, okay? So how it looks like is this. You start with your hands by your sides on the roller. So I'm lying on a roller or a cushion or whatever from bra strap, and it's still supporting my head. Okay. Opening up, and I'm closing. And so you would do that however many times, blah, blah, blah. Then I'm gonna move the arms up slightly, and I'm gonna open, and I'm gonna close. And by the way, you guys, if you're doing this stagnant on a roller, great, but you can also do it standing up. So I'm gonna let my ribs come towards you guys, and then I'm gonna let my ribs go away from you guys. Now I'm gonna lift my arms kind of like this kind of vibe. So you're gonna close, and then open your ribs, like I'm pulling your ribs towards me, and then push the back part of your ribs away like a hunchback, and open like that, and close. Then you're gonna do snow angels. So you're gonna open as wide as you can. I can't really do this without hitting my oven, with straight arms up and down. Absolutely, you can use a rolled towel. Absolutely, absolutely. And up and down, letting those go. Then on to my next trick. Guys, I can't even have this chair here for this. I don't even know if I can show you, but this one is against a wall. Okay, so Michelle and I don't really have walls to be against, so I'm gonna fake the wall. So when you're against the wall, you're gonna be like so. And then what you're gonna do, you're gonna think, this is the sexy one. This is super sexy. Double chins are involved. So the back of the neck, it's as if someone took those hands, those finger divots, and lifted you tall. Then you're gonna go in for a double chin, and then you're gonna tuck so that your chin glues into this divot right here. It's gonna glue there. Then from there, you're gonna try and lift the backs of your ribs and take that inhale, really lift the backs of the ribs and round your spine just in the upper back as if someone's carving out your tummy. So you don't wanna bend at your pelvis. You're literally pulling each segment one at a time away from the wall. And the back side of your body is getting taller and taller and taller as you do that. Are you standing?
No, but I'm just really impressed by already how I feel that.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's crazy. So those tiny little upper back muscles that I'm getting you guys to get into in that move. And by the way, if you don't feel it properly, it's because you didn't get sexy enough. You need to get, step one is the most double chins ever. Step two is putting the chin in the divot. And step three is lifting the backs of the ribs, almost as if you have a ball here. This is not a ball, but almost like you're going over something. Like that. And when you do that, that releases all that upper back stuff.
Amazing.
I'm not giving you all my secrets. Just kidding. Those are only a few.
You guys, it's 2:50. Do you have questions? I know Dr. Shalini Bhat's amazing, and I just got so much value from that. It's insane.
Right?
I cannot wait to go home and use my super sexy new moves.
Yeah. I mean, again, you guys, we did a fraction, and like, this is awesome, and we will offer this. And one of the things Michelle and I are going to talk about, like, we're just launching a virtual studio, and one of the classes is called Fascia Fix, and we do these kinds of things in a group setting. The other thing that we are offering with this in access to care, if you guys resonated with this and you're like, oh, I kind of want a custom one for myself that I can do, contact us, because again, like, just like you mentioned with the jaw popping or something like that, when I can see, or like I could even correct Michelle because she's the one I can see and not all of you guys. But you know, you can make those corrections through the computer. You guys are the ones doing it, of course, but we're guiding you through a custom lens, which can really make a difference in your body. If you guys are going through anything stressful, what? Nobody's going through anything stressful.
No, and that's so helpful that you can see that, and it's those little nuances that make all the difference in terms of like getting full therapeutic value from that. I'll let you guys ask a few more questions. I feel like there was one that was earlier up, and I'm not sure if you got to it. Does fascial release help with periodontal disease?
I don't even see that question.
It's way up.
Okay.
I think it got smooshed.
I mean, I could never make a linear like claim like that, but could, you know, fascia help everything with the oral cavity? Of course, because as I mentioned previously, fascia is encasing every blood vessel, every single lymph node, and like all of them, right? Like it's a sheet on a sheet. So it's like, sorry, that was probably loud in my microphone. You know, plus the nerves, plus, you know, that's going to change how the microbes are in the mouth, how well we can swallow and clean. You know, so there's so many different factors in that question. I hope that helps a little bit. Again, what Michelle and I would say, what's the root of the periodontal disease and this and that. But right. Can fascial release play a role in how things operate in this area and everywhere? Absolutely. Okay. Okay, this is amazing. Hold on. I missed one. Do you use fascial release as part of your daily morning and night?
Oh yes, we missed that one.
Routine. Who is this? Diana.
It's Diana, you're right.
I love you. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Like big time. So one of the services we offer is facial rejuvenation acupuncture, but at the end of the session, we do a whole facial.
Oh, it looks so good.
Release.
I want that move.
So the facial fascial release that we do at the end. So picture when you go for your facial, it's all light and fluffy and whatever, right? And you're kind of like, oh, like you just want that like a little bit more. So we really get in there and do that. And then those are the kind of things that I do, definitely, maybe less so in my morning routine, to be honest, because in the morning I'm like, let's go. But at night, for sure, when I'm doing my skincare routine, 100% every single night, I'm doing some sort of fascial release of the face, depending how much time I, like, that meme that women take so long to get ready for bed. I just need to do it. It feels so good. So yes, I definitely do that. And I wanted to
do facial cupping at all? No. You're doing facial release. Okay. Fascial.
Not that cupping is bad or I have anything against it. I just find it superficial for what I want to like get at. Like I just want to do a bit more of this kind of stuff, right? And that's good. Like it's cupping, gua sha, all that, fantastic, like so awesome. I think a little bit more time needs to be spent than when I can just quickly get my fingers. Do I love those modalities as well? Yes, great. But do I have 15 minutes to like do a whole like situation? Now I do. Just kidding.
My ear is like doing wild things. Like you've done something to my ear. I'm gonna keep you posted, but something's happening.
You posted.
Yeah.
If we're implementing fascial release with a lymph routine, i.e. dry brushing, what should be done first, or does it matter? I don't really, I'm not positive I get your question. Like, are you saying fascial release or dry brushing first?
What comes first?
I do them at totally different times. Like, so when I wake up in the morning, I do like a whole fascial movement routine. Then before my shower, I do my dry brushing. So they're kind of just, but I've had my coffee and all the, like, time has passed. It's not like I do them back to back in any capacity. Also, we just came out, shameless plug, we just came out with TMB branded dry brushes and they're so cute. So if anyone wants them, go over to our bio in my, whatever it's called, shop store on my website. What should be done first? Okay, what brand of acupressure mat? You know what, you guys, they're all exactly the same.
Yeah, they really are. So cost.
Exactly the same. It's a branding exercise. Michelle and I can put our logos on one. It's the same, all the same.
Yeah, we carry the bulletproof one here because the cost is cheaper actually than a spook. And that was the only reason why.
Yeah,
and that one, like, they'll travel well. I actually don't go I don't go anywhere now without my foam rollers, my fascial stretch balls, and my acupressure mat, because the return on investment in terms of sleep quality is like, so whatever packs easy and whatever is affordable, they are all actually the same.
Yeah, for sure. I would say, like, if you want to know my favorite acupressure mat or whatever, I kind of use this one that's a little like like lumbar cushion actually. It kind of is like this. It's like a square like this. And I throw that on my back whenever I'm driving, not to my office because I live very close to my office, but like, if I'm going to go to the cottage or if I'm going to be stuck in traffic or whatever, I'll toss that back there on my back. Yes, that's exactly what I'm looking for. I forget what the original.
That was,
we have focused here on the upper body, which is great, but for lower body, can we have another webinar, Jackie? We can do we can do all the things, or you can join my online studio where we will be hosting these fascial fix classes.
And that's free right now.
That's free for the next 3 days. So get that list because you will get access to fascial fix workouts. And to get on the list, when you go to the website, you just sign up for the newsletter or sign up for the thing on the front of the website. Or you can just DM me and I'll put you on or whatever. Themovementboutique.ca. I wrote it in the thing, which, by the way, Michelle, I haven't even told you, but it just is getting a current makeover and it's so cute. First draft of the new, and it's so nice. So, but yeah, for now, just go on there and I will make sure to release the fascial fix workout for all of that I've already recorded for all of you guys that were here today.
If you guys didn't know about Dr. Shalini Bhat before this moment, one, you can see how amazing she is, but she is unbelievable at showing up and giving tons of free content for people. So go follow her, stay connected to her content. There's so many opportunities to connect with her and her team. I think there's such value in being able to continue virtual care with you and you know, just having support during this time, because I already feel like 1,000% better. She's got 2 Instagram accounts. Will you put them in there for you? Oh, thanks, Diana, for joining us. Thanks, everybody, for joining us.
Michelle, I just noticed there is a Q&A bar that I did.
Different? Is it different? Oh, shoot.
But anyway, I can answer them real quick. Fascial for the face, we kind of went over. And then, oh, it's the same person you found the chat bar, Diana. Okay. How long or how many times would you do? So I would do each pass. So just like a stretch, like when you go to do a stretch, you're like, yep, I'm still stretching. And then you're kind of like, am I stretching? Like, you know, you're kind of done. That's the same thing for fascial release. Like you'll do, especially when you're the one performing it, you're like, yeah, oh, what am I doing still? Right. And remember, you can change your own pressure, right? So picture how much you would need to bruise a tomato, start there. And then if you need to go more or go less, you can adjust as you need.
You guys, thank you so mumuch for joining us. I know you're getting such awesome feedback. I'm so glad you guys found this valuable. I certainly did. Dr. Bhat, thank you. If there's enough time and we go through this phase longer, we'll bring her back and get her to teach us more. But please go connect with her and check out what she has, because her resources are amazing. I'm really glad you guys love this. Thanks for joining, guys.
Thanks for joining.
Have a great weekend. Thanks for making me laugh with the double chins, and now we're having fun on Friday.
I know, guys. This was Michelle. Thanks for hosting these, because I mean, I hope to catch some replays. I wanted to watch the one of you and Adele, but you know, building an online studio and all. But I really want to say thank you on behalf of these folks who are here, because it's, oh God.
Erin, I will kill you. Okay, show me one first. Send it to me first.
Send it to Michelle first. Let her add a filter. Let her do it.
Yeah. And I have to say, Linda B, thanks for joining. Linda B is from my old world. I've known her forever. So I think that's so cool to see you show up here. So you guys, we're going to keep doing this. It's fun. You did really lift the vibration, which you always do. Thanks for just being you and showing up and adding huge value, but also just a dose of joy on a Friday afternoon.
Thank you. And thank you so much for bringing this together, because it feels lonely, eh, guys?
Yeah.
All the things. All right, let's close this call.
Okay. Okay. Bye, guys. Happy Friday. I'll send the recording soon.
Bye, guys.